right, 1 minute to the top of the hour. I made. Oh, okay. Can y'all hear audio from the?
Yes, I can hear, and I can hear myself too.
And you can hear yourself. Okay, perfect.
Test.
Boom. Lift it up. Lift it up. So this mic's not going to be used yet, so I will pop
We're
it
also
down.
going to do, after you're on with the Rev, we're going to Rosica's our sponsor, which is down the street. So if you'd like to join us after that, come have some Mexican food with us, and we're going to be on YouTube. So yeah, we'd love to have you. And I'll draw you a little map, but that's really easy to find. You're just going to go down the street. Can't get lost. You promise. You should go, Julie.
I really should. I do. 10 seconds to the top. I need to. Top of the hour. It's different from the other one. I need to get imaging that says.
Voice,
yeah. Oh, is this on? Is that in a minute? Oh, shoot. All right, stand by. Mics are open.
We love chips and salsa. This is Alice Lada here with George Ortiz on my other side.
Jorge El Alacran. We've arrived in 2016.
Boy, you're coming and booming on my mic, on my headphones. Wow. I want to say this is our first show live here in Central City Radio, right? And on King FM.
On King FM.
King FM is new now, so I wonder if we're going to need to get Julian on the mic to explain if there's any special way to get there. Could you do that?
George can do it, right?
Yes, you go on Central City app, and
so load the app first.
You load the app. Julian,
Julian, owner of Central City Radio.
I'll bail you out, George.
Thank you.
Basically, yeah, you just download the Central City Radio app to your phone, iPhone, or the Google Play Store, iTunes. And then once you download the app, we have multiple stations now on the Central City Radio app. So it's not just the one where we're putting everybody's show on. There's one. Now we have a station dedicated to the Chips and Salsa show, which is what you're listening to now is King FM. And King FM is our inspirational Christian station with talk, conservative talk. Right now, we've got Chips and Salsa show that you're listening to right now. Also, Revving Up with the Rev, who's coming up next, and he is on. That's my dude right there. Love him. So we're going to be growing, and we're going to get more shows like this on King FM as we expand and grow. You'll see that we'll add on more stations and more genres of music, entertainment, of course, political talk. Of all kinds. So
we're so excited to be on with you. And if someone wanted to do a show, because this is the way to do it. This is a great place to start out. You've got a great audience already, Captain. What do they do? They contact you, right? Because you can set them up.
Yep. Just contact me. You can call our phone 480-776-5760. If you want to get your show on the air, if you got the voice, we got the platform.
And you know what? Even if you don't think you have a radio voice or all that, I tell you what, Julian can train you. He's very patient. So, for example, let's say Sonia, who's our producer here, if she wanted to do her own show and she wanted like special training, Julian would be here and hold her hand with that, right?
Exactly. As a matter of fact, that's a good idea, Secret Sonia.
Is that 623 or 640?
480.
480.
480.
So we're just about out of time for this first segment.
I know. I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm like, okay, 10 seconds, Alice.
Okay, stay with us because we're back with more of the Chips and Salsa show with Alice and George tonight. I really made it. Oh, that's too funny. Hey, do you need some water or what do we have back there? We have some tea or coffee? Water.
We got water. I think they They used to keep the tea and coffee out, but they take it in.
I don't do that.
You don't do that anyway? Okay, but we do have water, so if you need some water, we.
Yeah, water I can.
Okay. See, I could have got what's her name? Indigo.
Yeah, I think we're all done there.
To make them get to put the work. That's why I need to put them to work. Get Indigo. Do I have her? Does she? I don't know if she has her
You got a
phone
couple
on.
minutes so I can go get her some water?
Yeah, you
No,
gonna
I
do
don't
it?
need
1
it
minute.
right
There's
now.
1 minute.
That's all right. I don't need it.
I'll get it when we start.
Because we got all these kids. Somebody could be working, and they're back there playing.
And I bring my own tea, but I love these cups.
They're
because
great.
they're insulated and they've got cup.
And they got a yep,
They're
cup
great.
case, lid.
So we're gonna do another segment and start off the show a little bit, and then we'll bring you in after that.
Yeah, and you wanna have Mark call in so we can test this?
Yeah, let's do that.
Just tell him just to call in so if we were.
A segment is 10 minutes.
9, 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right, 20 seconds. Oh, move this mic back over. There you go.
Now,
All right, 10 seconds. Stand by.
Not yet.
I'll turn this up. We don't really need to turn this up anymore. Ah, shoot. My bad. I don't have the right thing up with your rejoiners. Thought I did.
We need to create a new one. Too.
You ready for some new rejoiners?
Yeah, some of the rejoiners are good, but like the intro.
Oh, yeah.
He's got Ben's mom, and he's gonna get mad.
Is that his mom on there? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's the one that says, "My penis coming out."
Oh, really? I had to add an extra minute. Sorry about that. It's about 20 seconds.
Okay, I texted Martin. So if he's at his phone, he's got a new phone now though, so I don't know. New phones are killers.
All right, stand by. Mics are on.
It is time to start the Chips and Salsa show. This is Alice Lara with Georgia Thies over there. Yeah, look at him. And we are here every Saturday night at 6 p.m. And we also do a show on Friday on KFNX 1100 a.m. So this is our Saturday night edition. You want to stay tuned. Coming up in the next segment, we will be introducing our main guest for the evening. And her name is Honora Levin. She goes by Honey. She wrote a fantastic book called The Friction Within, and I think just about everybody out there in our audience can identify with it. It's how the political divide in America affects personal relationships. One or two of us has had an argument or a disagreement with somebody from the other political side. Maybe you're a liberal, maybe you're a conservative, but some people take it very, very seriously. Well, you're going to want to tune in and find out what Honey did. It's extremely, extremely interesting. But to get started, we also want to tell you, now that we're on King FM, which is exclusive to Central City Radio, you can call in and talk to us. We're so excited. So if you're listening, please try the number, and we're going to give it to you right now. That's 623-258-6600. Okay, I'm sorry, that's a 1, right? 6100. Okay. Again, that's 623-258-6100. And, okay, is that better for the mic? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe. And so call in and give us a test to see if we can get your phone and receive it over there. There's so much going on today, and we're so happy to be here for our first New Year's show. They caught El Chapo and they caught El Chapo, right, George?
Yeah, let's see if he could make it to the United States without disappearing.
Maybe he's going to go through a tunnel again. He's looking for a tunnel.
Hey, that guy's got a lot of more lives than.
That is an unbelievable story still. I'll never forget seeing that. It's crazy. There's politically, the president is talking about guns again. And on Tuesday, he is going to be doing the state of the state. So I can't wait for that, George. How about you?
I'm
You ready?
not gonna watch it.
You're not gonna watch it. Well, now I have to watch. I'll tell you why. Because another show, and that's how I've already interviewed Honey once one time. My friend Dr. Carl has a show on KFMX. It's called Living the Dream. So what we're gonna do is we're going to watch the state of the state, and then he wants me to be the political pundit, kind of analyze it.
That's gonna be Tuesday, right?
Tuesday, yeah. So I think it starts at 6. So they're actually preempting the show, and it won't start until 9 o'clock. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. As you know, people out there, we're not big fans of President Obama, and we're happy this is his last year. Aren't you, George? Yay! We're doing the happy dancing here, boy. That's for sure. We're doing it now. We also want to tell you for our next show, we've got a lot of stuff planned for this year. In our next show, we're going to have Mark Del Maestro. And George and I were at the tea party last night. Let's give a shout out to the Deer Valley Tea Party.
Yeah, they're great. We made a lot of friends, and I've been there before, but we made new friends since I haven't been there in probably about a year. And I met a lot of people, new people that really want to see the movement grow better, and they really enjoyed us in our outreach to them.
Yeah, they're very sweet. Bob Stannard's kind of the guy that's controlling things there. I shouldn't say controlling things. He's running things there, and he's very good to us. And we met Mark Del Maestro. Now, did you notice that Mark? He looks like Mark Levin. He does. He does. When you meet him next week, you're going to say, "Wow, he does look like Mark Levin." Now, just a few weeks ago, we had the Rhino Hunters. Zach could do a perfect impersonation of his voice. So if we get Zach to do that, and then we have maybe this Mark's face, and we could just about have Mark Levin on our show.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool. Those of you, I know we have kind of a different audience here, so if you don't follow politics, Mark Levin is a very, very famous conservative talk show host. And it'll be funny, so you watch it. You can watch us on YouTube now, right now too, right?
Yes.
Tell everybody how to do that.
You go to Sonia Salsa, Sonia Salsa.
Wait a minute, maybe let's have Sonia tell them.
Sonia Salsa S on YouTube. Go to YouTube and go to Sonia Salsa S, and you go to Chips and Salsa show, and you'll watch us live.
Oh, I have to tell you a story. I told Sonia before we were there. So, I've got this relatively new phone, and I'm trying to be really good and use it the way it's supposed to. And I'm driving, so I said, I'm going to use the audio feature, right? So I'm looking for Sonia's number because I wanted to tell her I'm about 10 minutes away. And I put the microphone on, and I say, Sonia, and I give the full name, which is Sonia Siegert. It says, Sonia Siegert. Do you know what came up on my screen? Sonia Secret. I kid you not.
Really?
And, we tease her, we go, Secret Sonia Secret. So what I did in my soft voice that I know everybody complains about, everybody has to do mics and special mics because it doesn't carry. So I got on there and I went, Sonia Siegert, and voila, it came up. It's a good story.
I don't talk to mine yet. I'm just getting to know it.
Getting to know it.
I haven't talked to.
But you did talk to Siri.
No, that was the news was talking to her, and when they said about spanking.
Did you want to talk about that? What do we have, June? A couple minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, we have some minutes.
Ask her. Could you ask her?
I don't know. I don't even know how to get Siri on my phone. I'm going to do that. A couple of bumblers on our phone.
Siri's only on iPhone.
Oh, then I've got Samsung.
How do I do it?
Well, then how did you get it, George? Oh, you heard on the news.
Yeah.
You get it. George always tries to trick me. He's always doing things to trick me. If I'm not playing charades with him, trying to figure out what he's saying,
I don't know how to do it.
he's
I don't know how to do it yet.
things to-
But I know I have it. I have her in there. I just haven't, because sometimes she'll pop up and say, "What did you want me to look at?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry." She's in there. It's just I don't know how to use it yet.
You've got her. You do have her, because you have an iPhone.
Yeah, this is a 6. It's like it has all that capability. But I heard it. I was listening to one of our local news. Yeah, and they were talking about when you ask her what is her views on spanking, and she really comes out with some wild ones. It was
Was she for it about spanking kids? Or?
yeah, she was for it, but
That surprises
but
me.
it was like no emotion on it. It was really you have to listen to it.
Spank them now.
It's
And we
getting
didn't get to
harder.
talk about that last night, but we were going to talk about Martin was saying how my dad, I never got a real whipping. I got a spanking one time, which is not a big deal. But all my dad had to do was look at us or pull the belt like that. If he did that, he meant business. He would follow through. So I was a pretty good kid.
No, my stepdad, he wasn't my real dad, but we were raised by my stepdad, but he was like really, he believed in, if you just out of line, it was out with the belt, and there was no, when that belt came out, it's like, wow.
And were you? And that's I don't
No,
know, that was in our culture.
you tend not to be bad,
Yeah.
but sometimes you'd make a mistake, and that's when I'd cry before the belt even got to me. But I turned out to be a good kid. I never did that when I became an adult. I didn't believe in that.
You'd spank your kids.
I
Would
never
you
did.
spank them?
No,
You didn't even spank
I
them?
never did that.
What about when
I
you were
never-
little or something?
I didn't.
No?
Georgie, I never had. He did a lot of stuff that was bad, but I never.
So how would you punish?
I just
what
give
was the
him
worst
that.
punishment?
I just give him that talk. It's like, hey, what are you doing? It's like, we take away his PlayStation for a day or something, or game. He'd jump off the banister to the couch from the second floor. He thought he was, Hercules, or not Hercules, but
And
evil
so then you
comedian.
told him one time, don't do it, had the talk, and he didn't do it anymore.
Well, yeah, because we took the PlayStation away.
So you found out what really made him suffer.
Yeah, the PlayStation.
I think that's the trick to find out, because I used to babysit a lot. I don't have kids. But you find out what is of a lot of value to that person. So if you're going to behave that way, then you're going to suffer.
I never spanked him, and he's in the army now, and he could probably spank me. He's a little big now.
Yeah, I wouldn't try spanking Georgie.
He knows that karate stuff. No, but he turned out to be a good kid, And some kids I see that they have no discipline at all, and I trace it back to the parents. The parents have you got to from the infancy train them so that they know when the bad is bad and when good is good. You reward them for goodness, and I don't know. It's all in the way you bring up your kids because.
Well, you did a good job, so it worked. Consistency, I think it's consistency. You got to be consistent. So I think we're about out of time for this first segment, but stay tuned because we're going to come back with Honey 11 and talk about the friction within. Do not miss it. Stay tuned for more of the Chips and Salsa Show with Alice and George tonight.
What?
Did I get it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to come back with you.
Okay, you have a lot of fun. I can see that.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
One YouTube I watched, there were a lot of people in here.
Oh, did you watch
Is
the
this
YouTube?
It's the same
It
place.
Sometimes
Same
we
place,
have
it
a lot
looked
of
like
people.
it was a bigger place. There must have been, I don't know, 6, 7.
Thousands of people.
Because the Rev's going to come in. We should take a picture now or something.
Yeah.
Photo.
Oh, Alice, you just remember to brand the King FM.
Oh, thank you. So, do you still want me to mention Central City Radio?
Yep.
And what's a good way to say that?
I just, however I heard those, King FM and King FM, a Central City radio station.
Oh, okay.
King FM on the Central City Radio app.
Central City
Yeah.
Radio.
And then sometimes you just say King FM. But yeah, King FM on the app, King FM, a Central City station, radio
So
station.
that's like a KFYI, you go to 550 KFYI, but 1230 is also, they call it KFYI 2. Is that kind of the same concept?
No, even though they're on the iHeartRadio app too,
Oh, that's true, 'cause that's another
they're,
station.
they're all bad, and they considered a whole other station. So the Central City Radio app is almost a whole branding entity on itself. Central City Radio app, Central City Radio app. Because I hear they always hit an iHeartRadio, all the time. But see, a lot of their stations are already branded.
He'll let us know when we have a minute. So
We have to brand everything all at once.
At the station, it's
Why does this
different.
brother call me during the show? 10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds.
It's a little different here, but almost the same.
Alice took care of that.
All right, stand by. We're at the rejoiner.
I'm from America. Are you, George?
Yes, and proud of it.
Proud American.
Well, I was born in Puerto Rico, but I was raised here in America, and I
you would be eligible to run for president of the United States.
oh yeah, because
You are a natural born citizen.
yeah, because if you're born in Puerto Rico, you're automatically a citizen. Yeah, yeah.
So
Cruz is different because he was in Canada. Canada, they're Canadian citizens. They're not actually. They have to become citizens when they come across the border. They have to declare.
Puerto Rico is.
It's
So
a commonwealth.
Puerto
It's a commonwealth.
Puerto Rico.
We got represented.
You are an American citizen.
Yeah, because we're represented in Congress, and
It's 50 plus.
so,
Just quickly, I know we're going to get to our guest in just 1 second, but we should do this sometime. Do you want to stay with Puerto Rico?
I'd have to research more into. I would like it to be a state, but I want to research more into what the pros and cons are, because something comes with state that might not benefit Puerto Rico at this time because of its monetary thing. But it
Let's
I
do
don't know.
that for a topic because, and you might be getting into some arguments with your relatives or other people. And I'm saying that because of the book we're going to talk about.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that want statehood, and there's a lot of people that they want to keep it as a commonwealth. So, but I think the statehood outnumbers the commonwealth.
More people
Yeah,
statehood.
I think so.
Well, that it might be an argument, like I say. So what we're going to do now is bring in our guest for the show, and I had the opportunity on Dr. Carl's Living the Dream show to I sidekick it with him sometimes, and he interviewed her, and so we're going to have her on our show here, and actually next Friday she's also going to be on our show because this is a great topic to call in. Also, let me give you that call-in number as well, which is 623-258-6100. That's your new call-in number for King FM on the Central City Radio app. And that's 623-258-6100. Welcome to our microphones here. Honora, and she goes by Honey, Levin, and it's spelled Levin, but she pronounces it Levin. It could be, I understand, Levin, Levine,
That's what I was gonna say, Levine.
or Levin.
Same name.
Yeah. So, and she is author of The Friction Within, How the Political Divide in America Affects Personal Relationships. Welcome, Honey.
Well, thank you so much, Alice, and thank you very much, George.
And with due respect, welcome, Honey.
Welcome, Honey. We welcome Honey all the time. And she is sweet. This is going to be a really good interview. So let's get started with this. Tell us, the short story. I know you've already told it, but tell us again a little short story of how you even came to write this book and the fact that you actually were a Democrat. You're not a Democrat anymore. But tell us the short story about how this came to be.
Well, I'll try to make it short. Most of you out there know that we're a country divided, and when you think of that, I think the first people you think about as being divided are our politicians, our legislators, whether it's in Congress or the Senate or even our local legislators. But what a lot of Americans don't realize is that we are divided as a country as at the grassroots level. Everyday Americans are divided along political lines. And I'm pretty old, and I do not remember this kind of phenomenon happening before in my lifetime. And with me, it started in the 2008 first Obama election when I decided I had been a lifelong Democrat and active in the party at various times and believing in what the goals were. But when the chosen candidate would get up and give his viewpoints of what America would be like under his presidency, I just couldn't go along with it. And so I gradually, I suppose at that time, turned to the right, although I didn't realize I was doing it. And as usually happens during election periods, and that's what's happening now, people go back and forth with their different viewpoints about why they're voting for this candidate or that candidate. Well, I had a group of friends here and a group of friends back east where I'm from originally, and even some family members, and we would have what I thought would be respectful, civil discussions. But that wasn't the case. In fact, I can't remember one person who was going to vote for Obama who actually let me speak my mind and give my reasons in what I thought was a rational way, now that I think about it. And so,
And I'd have to think you had very good relationships with them. You're a very nice person. It wasn't like you had good friendships, a strong relationship,
yes, I thought so.
respectful.
I thought they were. And many of them from back east. Now, we've been in Arizona from, it'll be almost 24 years. So at that point, we had been here for quite a while, and we had a lot of long-term relationships here as well. And I thought, as you said, that they were stable relationships. But all of a sudden, I became a pariah because I was not voting for the first black president. And there were intimations whenever I would speak that I must be a racist, that I wasn't voting for him because of his color. I tried to explain that there were issues. We shouldn't go by personalities when we vote. We should go by what the candidate stands for, what their issues are, what their plans are. But I never really got a chance in the whole time.
And again, these are people that have known you for years and years. They
Yes.
knew you weren't a racist. They've known you for a long time. They wouldn't have been a friend if you were a racist, but they still accused you of being a racist.
Yes, they didn't come out and say it when you were a racist, but in their intimations, in their tone of being so dismissive of when I would say I was decided to vote for McCain, there was always that undertone. And this is kind of interesting. We were friendly with a couple who had come to Arizona at the same time we did. And when did they come? They where were they before? They were South Africans. They were white, Jewish, as I am, South Africans. And we met here, and we became very friendly. And when my husband and I expressed our displeasure at some of Obama's outlooks, especially towards Israel,
You're very nice outlooks. That's a you're very
trying to be kind of
very
neutral. They got very upset with us, especially the husband. Now, they had lived in South Africa their whole lives, and they had prospered, as I said before. And we here, I remember, were not happy with apartheid at all. I think that was, let's see, Mandela took office in 1994, I believe. And that's pretty much when our friends decided to leave South Africa. But I remember going to my college, which was Temple University back in Philadelphia, where Bill Cosby went to college. I have to prove.
Did you know Bill Cosby?
No, he never really
Did he
graduated.
try to date you? Oh, I
No,
had to
he
ask
didn't.
that. I'm sorry.
Sorry, he didn't. But he actually lived right near the area where we lived. But at any rate, Desmond Tutu came to Temple University, and he was the head of the church, I believe, in South Africa. I don't know what specific religion the black population belonged to, but he was head of the church. And I was so excited and I ran to see him. So, and I always followed the apartheid conduct and was very unhappy with it. So fast forward to 2008 when these friends from South Africa started intimating that we were not voting for Obama because we were racist. My husband was totally disgusted, and I could not be friendly with them anymore. So most of the friendships, I have to say, that we had are now gone by the wayside, unfortunately. Yeah, even to this day, if they are there, they they're quick.
What kind of damage?
Yes, so damage is a good word. Right.
So I know we're probably coming up here on another break, but what this led to is you writing this book, which is a compilation of more than 20 interviews with people about this particular topic.
Yeah, well, I thought that after the election things would calm down. This is the first Obama election, but it didn't. It only got worse. And so eventually we were kind of forced to make new friends, and we now have a social group of all conservatives, and we're very happy with that. But I've heard from other people from 2008 on, similar experiences to mine. Mine was not such, my husband and mine was not such an anomaly. And so I started thinking, well, gosh, why is this happening? Even during the Vietnam War, we never got heated and would never think of doing away with relationships because we didn't agree with the Vietnam War. So I started to do research, and there was very little there at the time of when I was trying to do research, and I thought that's the problem. There has to be more studies. There has to be some in-depth writing about why this is going on, because it can't continue. It will destroy us as a country if we're united.
And it can be very destructive, and I think everybody's out there. I know I've had it, and you get on the verge where you're like, you start fighting it. It gets ridiculous out of hand. I had a recent example on Facebook. I think I shared with you. It's a friend from high school. We've been friends for more than 40 years, actually. So we're going to talk all about that. So call in if you'd like to on 623-258-6100 to talk to Honey Levin about this, the frictional event. And stay tuned for more of the Chips and Salsa Show. I just made it.
Hello, Miss Honey.
This is
He's under the chair.
this
There's
is
another chair. Not unless that one up there, they're not sitting on that one anymore.
What?
Someone was sitting on that one up by the desk, not unless they got up.
I'll go get that.
For you and show you how affordable health insurance can be.
Oh, thank you.
No extra cost to you. Call the health and learn more.
It's
I feel like Reverend Clyde is here. Is Reverend Clyde coming today?
No,
He just called me.
he's calling. He's gonna go
I'm gonna tell you
he's
how
supposed to go on the air. She's gonna question me on the air.
Oh,
Okay.
hi, Reverend Clyde,
So-
Julian. You want to go on the air? You're gonna call this number here, 623-258-6100.
But I thought that I would
Are you telling him that?
Yeah, I just called and told him that.
Okay. All right.
I don't think he got the message.
Do I have time?
He did.
I'm gonna text him.
But I'm not going to read this whole. Well, how much time do we have?
We've got
We got 40 seconds before we get back in.
And then how much?
we'll see.
It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. You'll be totally for free. And you'll be supporting
Whatever you like. I don't care.
Heritage
Everybody like the
is a
English.
nonprofit organization that helps the visually
I
impaired.
don't really. Okay.
You guys getting ready to interview Clyde, Reverend Clyde?
No, he's gonna do it during my show.
Oh, during your show. Oh, he called a little too soon. So he has to call your number then.
Oh, he just wants to call into our show. Maybe.
I thought Rev was.
on your show too.
He has
Okay.
my cell phone number. But if there's a better number, that's
Oh, okay. Oh, hang on. We're gonna go back in right now. Who's that? All right, stand by. Mics are open.
And we're the smartest thing on King FM right now, right? To the Central City.
And what's that number again?
Smartest thing. This is Alice, Lara, and George Ortiz Alacran, Don Jorge. You can call at 623-258-6100. Julian, I wonder if the Rev he wasn't trying to call that number.
No, he wasn't. I was. Yeah, it was something else.
Hey, call in. You can talk to our guest, Honey Levin. She's going to give us some good tips and some good information. We're talking about how you're out there, you're at a party, you're on Facebook so many times. You know, I love to talk to people, and that's part of why I love radio. I know you are a talker, Georgia, and sometimes people take their politics so seriously and start fighting with you.
But you know, I thought racism was going down. It had diminished over the years. I've dealt with blacks, Hispanics, whites, and you don't look at it as racism anymore. It was an undercurrent that you would see, but not as much as when Obama was elected president. It became more prevalent, where more people started.
Instead of a black president getting, making things better, it seemed to get worse, didn't it?
Yes, and he started saying, well, if that kid was the one in the shooting, and I think it was Trayvon. If I had a son, he would look like Trayvon. Stuff like that is wrong to say when you're a black person, and this happens to be a black gentleman that's involved in the shooting. You try to de-escalate what's happening. He escalated it.
He doesn't on purpose.
He did it, and it caused some people took it the wrong way, and it's easy to take it the wrong way.
And he gives them ammo to call people racist, and gives them another argument, which is not enough.
And that's just one example. There's been hundreds of examples that he's done. Well, maybe not hundreds, but quite a few examples that he's done where he's put race into problems that are happening where it might have been a little racial, but as a president, you're a president of all the people, blacks, whites, Hispanics, everything. You don't put it to just one race. You try to be.
You're supposed to be.
Well,
you can talk for 20 minutes about what you should be, but he's never going to do that. He's really good to divide.
Just like people. I talk to my sister. She thinks Joe Arpaio's racist. I've met Joe Arpaio many times. He's not racist. He's the kind of person that when he took that oath to be sheriff, he was going to follow it to the letter, and that's what he was doing.
So let me ask you. So you talk to your sister like that. Clearly, you're not on the same side.
No, she's Democratic, and she's been.
But Democrat you still maintain. She's still your sister. You still love her.
Oh,
Is your relationship somewhat damaged over that?
No, we just don't talk politics.
See, you can't even talk politics.
Because when we do, she just takes the far end of it, and it's just like I don't want to hear it because I know she's not using common sense. If you use common sense, and if she's listening, you're not using common sense.
Tell her to call me. Honey, let's get this party started.
If you use common sense, you weigh it like a blind person.
So let's ask Honey about this because we talked about this in the other show too. Because I was telling her, and someone called in fact, Steve called in, I remember, and he talked about how it seems like, and I'm biased about this too. When I'm talking to someone from the other side, conservatives generally we try to present facts and be more intellectual about it, and the liberals seem to have more emotion instead of actual facts. And you said actually it's not totally true for your research.
Well, I ended up by interviewing 28 people, and to get an idea, this is leading to your question now, to get an idea of how people are actually thinking. And I chose people from the whole political spectrum. There's Democrats, there's Republicans, there's Libertarians, there's one person from the Green Party, there are Independents, there's one person who's a Libertarian. And I wanted to see what you're saying, Julie. Or is there a certain way that conservatives respond and think, and is there a certain way that liberals think? And I have to say that for the most part, you're right. Liberals do think in an emotional way because mostly I think they are talking about social issues, abortion, immigration, whatever, race, and those dredge up our emotions. But by the same token, I've interviewed conservatives, and they don't always know their facts. And when you read the book, you can see that. They will talk in generalities. For the most part, the conservatives did know their facts. But then there were some who did not.
So at least it was in the minority, those who did not. Right? Makes me feel better.
I would have
there were more that you said more knew their facts, right?
I thought more knew their facts. But I'm going to have to do a tally for the next show because I've tallied other things, but not that. So I will have to do that. Because I'm sure that's really an issue.
Well, and I like what Glenn Beck used to do. Glenn Beck would make presentation about whatever issue he was talking about, and he'd present different things and cite his sources, and he'd say, "Look, don't believe me. Do your own research." And I used that line. I had to use the other day on Facebook. Here's what I've read. Here's what I've seen. And sometimes you can do the source, but you can't always pull it from your head. So I said, do your own research though. If you don't believe, you don't have to believe me. I'm not, I'm not the Almighty. Do your own research.
And quite a few people say, and Priscilla, whose parents are, one is from Puerto Rico and the other is from the Dominican Republic, and she's a strong Democrat. She's only 30, by the way. And she was the youngest, and she said that you have to do your research. But when I interviewed her, I don't know whether she really did do the research. I mean, there's research and then there's research. And to me, the internet, the possibilities of the internet, the benefits of it, is that you can access a bill in Congress to see what's going on very easily. You can do that with past bills, past legislation. There's all kinds of ways you can do it rather than writing to the National Library, for example. It's all right there, but I don't think most people really want to do it.
And I'm glad you brought that up because this audience is actually a younger audience, I would think, right, Julian? Which we have because his station, Central City Radio, typically it carries its top 40 station, and this is the newly introduced the King FM. But you need to know that, and they do have much of an advantage because when I was in college, you're right, I had to go and dig through the library. We didn't have talk radio, and now just go look it up on the internet and find what your facts are. So I appreciate that, especially the fact that the woman that you mentioned is only 30. So kind of gear your thoughts towards what, let's say under 40. What do you think, George?
Yep.
Audience?
Yeah, I think they're under 40. And the ones that are dedicated because they know us are over 40, but it's because we know them as friends, and so they come in and they listen to us on a regular basis. So the under 40 are the ones that follow the Central City and King FM. So.
And one of the things that when we were on Dr. Carl's show, he had a really interesting wrap up because he said when people talk politics, my husband said that. My husband says even if you don't follow politics at all, everyone has an opinion. If they may know nothing at all, but everyone has an opinion. And Dr. Carl, which I think he put very succinctly, it's kind of core beliefs that you have. So if you go and attack that, you're kind of attacking that person. I thought that was interesting.
Yes, exactly. And it was something that there's a new moniker, for example, that says politics has become personal. And that's exactly what Dr. Carl meant. That they don't, if somebody says something, they take it as an affront to them, not on the issue that they were talking about.
And so then the issue and the topic gets just out of whack, and you're not even discussing that anymore. You're just doing it personal. You say, now it is personal. It's true. Well, we still have one or two segments left. I can't believe this is going fast, but it's a really good topic. I encourage you to call in, but don't go away because there's a lot more with Honey Levin and here with me and George on the Chips and Salsa Show, the Friction Within.
Is this segment 4 now? Segment 4 now?
Yeah.
Hello?
We're number 4.
Yeah.
Segment 4, right?
Yeah, it's funny.
It's the last segment.
George,
This is the last segment already?
there's been a lot in the paper about Puerto Rico, and there was a big article today about the problems they're having, the economic. And I really wanted to follow.
Okay,
it,
what's
But I thought my little brain can't handle it. So
yeah.
so now I'm sorry I didn't remember the Wall Street Journal today.
Well, their
Hey, how you doing?
their monetary problem, they're in debt, and
they didn't
I
have
don't know if they became a state, how that would affect them. So before I, say that they should,
You're on the website?
I like state, but I'd like to know more about what the ramifications of that,
When your
because
taxes
it's
go up.
Yeah,
Lamar?
maybe the taxes.
No,
would
you
go
got
up,
Central
and then
City.
You have people pissed off.
Oh,
They
Lamar
got
Odom. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Here's what you're gonna want to do.
I think.
Go to the stations
It's not a
tab.
simple solution.
Yeah, I think it's more. We have to research and
On
find out
the website. You go this above the Lamar
and
Odom.
then what can be done before statehood to make it all level, so that when it becomes statehood, then you start at an even thing, and then the state has to.
Oh, you don't see the stations tab?
Because it's different.
You're on the
in some
website.
islands. And do they have the natural resources? Do they have
Well, where it says home,
the income coming
we see
in
a home
to
on there.
sustain the state?
You know what?
Most
I'm
states
gonna have to put you
have
on.
no income
Hang on a second, okay?
Plus they get
We're
help from
doing the
the
show. Yeah, one month.
government.
All right, 10 seconds. All right, stand by. All right, mics are open.
And that's the smartest thing you're going to hear is our show, the Chips and Salsa show, here on King FM on the Central City Radio app. I'm Alice Lauder with George Ortiz.
Oh, yeah.
We have one segment left, George. So how about maybe that we deal with our solutions and what positive things can be done if you are in this. If this happens to you because you're on the brink of losing maybe a very good friend, maybe a potential spouse, who knows, or just over politics. What say you, honey?
Well, before I give you the conclusion that are based on the words from the interviewers, I just want to say that there's 28 Americans, and they range who I interviewed.
They were rage. You used to bring and slip there.
Right.
Yeah.
From the age of 30 to the 80s, and they're all different races, all different ethnicities, all different political affiliations, as I said, and they come from all over the country. And what's interesting is that they do have common values. And the one common value that I spoke in Dr. Carl's show that impressed me was they all love America, no matter where they are in the political spectrum. So I think the reason I interviewed people was because I thought we can't talk to each other face to face anymore. It's impossible about politics. So maybe when people from who are polar opposites read the words from the book of how they feel, maybe that could lead to a better understanding.
And you did all these interviews face to face?
Yeah. Well, some of them were done on the phone because they lived in other areas.
There wasn't an email situation.
No, there were. I had a set of questions as a guide, but the questions varied according to what each person said. But about 3 of them decided to just write their answers and send it back to me by regular mail. They could still have regular mail. So. And that was, in a way, it was a little disappointing because I think you can get more when you interview somebody. But they were busy people, so that was fine. But most of them they all had to agree to speak to me. Some spoke anonymously. Some gave me, and I gave them the choice that they could speak with a pseudonym. I used their first names. And many of the first names are not really their first names because I thought that would free them up to speak. And a few of them, about 4 or 5, are nationally known, and I've included the first and last name in that, such as Dr. Zubi Jasser, who has been on Fox constantly.
Sure.
He represents the Muslim population, but he's a very, very ardent Republican and has been all his life. So the first thing we have to do is recognize we have that one huge common value that we love America. And we have to put that first before party. The second thing that I found was that each of the people I interviewed, and I thought I would have a hard time, but I didn't. People kept coming and referring. And yes, I got turned down by some Native Americans, which I was sorry to hear that, but for the most part, it was not hard. So they all have the need to vent, and that's the second commonality, which shows that nobody's happy with this situation. They don't like segregating themselves politically. It just is not normal. And they also, as I started to say, have a very strong work ethic. Even the strongest independent who absolutely hates the Republicans, and she makes no bones about it. That's Marguerite in the book. She says she comes from a family of Italian immigrants, and she said, "We have, we do not believe in welfare. We believe in the work ethic. My parents did. I do." And she doesn't realize that that's a conservative value. But all of the people, no matter where they are hard workers, and they've been very successful in whatever field they're in. And I think where we differ are government. What, how does government play into our lives? Do we want more government? Do we want less government? And there are other areas that are different and probably will never be the same. But the other most important point is we have to listen. One of the people who read the book got back to me and she said, and she's a Republican, but she said, I have to learn to listen more when my liberal friends talk. She's a very quiet woman, but maybe she gets excited. I never heard her in a situation like that. So if we all take a breath and step back and look, as you say, not at politics being personal, but as what can we do in our country? What's the direction our country should go into to survive? Everyone who I interviewed wants the country to continue, but they're worried about national security. They're worried about their grandchildren, their children economically. So they have the same fears, but where they differ is how to get there.
Now, honey, we just have a few minutes. What would you say then if someone is thinking about debating or sparring with the other side? What's a good thing to say? Maybe let's talk issues, or what's a good line to use?
First, you have to determine if the other side wants to discuss it.
Yeah, some of them have already made up their mind,
Exactly.
and then they will not. Everything you say, they take it and they try to change it to.
Now, I'm already past that. I'm saying you're in the conversation already sparring. What's a good line to say? We only have a few minutes.
Okay, a typical answer
1 minute.
that
Okay.
people have used is we can agree to disagree. This is what they say in the book. I don't happen to like that because I think that it's a cop out. So at this point, if they're sparring, if they're getting so heated, then you just have to say, well, what are you doing tomorrow? Or how are your kids? You got to temper it down.
I'm going to have to cut you off. But, keep listening to the station because she's also going to be on the Red Show next year. So stay through the break and do that. We appreciate you listening to the Chips and Salsa Show. Alice got here with Georgia Bruce. And if you'd like to join us this evening at Rositas in Tempe University Party for the After the Show, do it. And what am I missing? Go ahead and say it.
Listen to us on KFNX on Fridays, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we're going to have our guests next Friday also.